This man right here is a legend. I used to watch him on the internet a long time ago before YouTube was even popping. What he's doing is gathering energy to his sacral chakra and projecting it up through his arms. He's also using the art of imagination to direct that chi energy through his hands. Over here, he's holding nothing as his hands are completely open, and over here, he picked up individual pieces of paper towel. Now pay attention. Nothing in his hands. Now this is a form of psychokinesis. Psychokinesis is a broad umbrella term that incorporates telekinesis, hydrokinesis, pyrokinesis, and other forms of that. This can also include Reiki healing, or Reiki energy work. Using his left hand, he focuses the energy to the paper towels, in which you'll soon see it starts to spark and catch fire. How would you know if you never tried?
They probably fooled other people, but they cannot fool the chosen one. The chosen ones wear magic glasses. They see through the illusions. They see a demon at the event, at any gathering. They can see that demon before that demon see them. They know it. And they just play the role until it's time to expose. But chosen ones, God works through the chosen ones. That's why they're chosen. They're chosen for the assignment. Okay? Chosen ones are chosen for hidden knowledge. That's how God, created it to be that way. So no one can fool the chosen one.
He said, if you take this elixir, your psychic powers will get better. And he put his hand in it in the movie and said, ooh, that's nutmeg. And he said, among other things. Well, the Spirit gave us the other thing is nutmeg, honey, and some lemon. I know it's nutmeg and honey, cayenne pepper, boil into a tea and drink it, and your psychic powers will get better.
This is not a new world. It is simply an extension of what began in the old one.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Can't you see this is all a trick? The aliens are projecting our memories onto the environment. They're trying to confuse us, Patrick.
When you just remove your ego from the equation entirely and allow for you to understand your own alchemy, the transformations that you will begin to experience are so weird and amazing. You first have to come to the realization that life does not operate on a linear plane. Each transformation will serve as a period where you must endure the pain of that lesson in order to ascend to the next level, and this cycle is a continuous cycle that does not stop. When I was first introduced to this perspective upon it, it allowed me to understand how karmic cycles actually work. Now, you cannot expect for these transformations to present themselves if you are holding on to old energy. Being an alchemist requires the discipline for you to be able to transform energies into higher frequencies. And you can't just shame yourself into becoming a transformed version of you. The caterpillar only became the butterfly when it had the space to grow.
Chosen ones do not play. Chosen ones are kind. I'm going to start with the positive first in this one before I get to you. Chosen ones are diplomatic. We know how to de-escalate a situation. We are people who will at times go above and beyond. Very tolerant, right? I mean, more so than the average person. Self-control, all of the above, home training, what mama taught us, grandma, whatever you want to call it, right? We got all of that. But with all that comes this dark side people are not ready for. Because I tell you one thing about people like us, people like me, people like you, we're kind, we're diplomatic, but we do not play. Once you disrespect, after I've done all of that, oh, I know something wrong with you. It's obvious because I've already been kind to you, I've been nice to you, and you gonna do me like this, it's over. So we are men and women who do not play. Do not take a chosen man or woman's kindness for weakness. It is a gift. You hear me? And once you take that for a weakness and use that person or disrespect them or disregard them, don't be surprised when you hear the footprints and they're gone. You will lose a good woman. You will lose a good man by taking them for granted. Stop taking good people for granted is what I'm trying to say. When a person is being nice to you, see it as a gift. That's not a weakness because they can switch gears on you and you won't know who you're dealing with.
My nigga, I knew it.
Madness.
I knew it,
We
bro.
finally have footage of what's actually hiding on the Sentinel Islands.
They've been telling
And
us
this
in
finally
movies
shows
for a
us why
long
it's forbidden
time, bro.
for
Just
humanity
listen.
to approach them. For decades, the world has been told that the Sentinel Islands are off limits to protect the isolated tribe living there. But found footage has just surfaced that suggests a
It's
much
not
darker,
AI. This
more
is for
terrifying reason for the
entertainment
secrecy. The
purpose
footage begins with a
only,
view
my
of the
nigga.
dense, untouched jungle.
You see King Kong?
It captures something that defies every biological law
Bro.
we know. We can see gigantic
Look at this shit, bro.
beasts that resemble elephants.
Y'all not gonna tell me this
But they are
AI,
hundreds
bro.
of
Y'all
times
saw the
larger.
horn
They
coming
move
out that
through the trees
motherfucking
like
African
prehistoric
motherfucking
titans that
head,
time
my
forgot.
nigga.
But here's the part that will make your blood cold. People are now asking if these mutated giants are the real reason why no ancient or modern humans
What the
ever
fuck?
dared to go on this land. And if so, how they appeared there.
Everything
see
you
the
know in
records
this
yourself by
world was a
searching Sentinel Island
motherfucking
footage.
lie.
But what do you think is really living there? Tell me your theory in the comments.
You want some bath water? You take what? 3 caps of Clorox, 3 caps of ammonia, 3 caps of vinegar, 3 caps of lemon juice, and 1/2 cup of sea salt, right? Half a cup? Yeah, half a cup of sea salt. And you get in there, and for some of us rusty niggas, it probably can strip off all kind of stuff. And you get in that water. I'm going to do it again in a few minutes. And you get in that water and you bathe, and you burn a candle while you're doing it. Huh? No, I can say it. You burn a candle, right? Your spirit tells you. Say what you want. Carry some the candle, the wax. Carry some of the wax around with you. You know, get a little bit of that wax out of that candle and carry it around with you before you burn it and stuff like that. But you burn this candle, you put it in something, a little pouch or whatever. But to strip off this stuff in, I know that this spiritual cleansing works. So a lot of you, you get ready to go to jail or some stuff is going down or some stuff that's just messing around in your life. You need to take this particular spiritual bath.
Your imagination is how you do work. It is utterly ridiculous to think your imagination is just a part of this world, because what do you think you build your true reality with? Your imagination and visualization. That's why it works down here in the context it does. Shit. The Secret was telling you that. Laws of attraction, cause and effect. The first law of Tahuti, shit, all of them are trying to tell you about the calisthenics of the mind. So your imagination is absolutely everything. Don't let anyone tell you that is something a part of the astral world or belittle it, because if you remember in school, all they did was tell you to pay attention. Stop doing that. You're acting childish. Stop daydreaming. Stop looking out the window. Focus. Pay attention. What they're really doing is getting you out of the realm of imagination. And of course, we know Einstein's quote, more than anything in the universe, the most important thing to have and the most valuable thing about you, and I'm paraphrasing, is your imagination.
life force energy that goes to your body like the blood goes to your vein. Gong means mastering your life force energy. So Qigong is learning how to master your life force energy so you can heal your body naturally. Now, let's go ahead and show you 3 Qigong exercises that you can learn on, so that way you can celebrate today. The first one is gonna be the lymphatic swim. You're gonna have your palms up, facing up, then you're on your toes, you bend your knees, you rock back on your heel. This exercise actually flushes the lymphatic system, which helps clear out toxins from your body, okay? And then you bring your chin up as you rock back and forth from your heel to your toe. The next exercise that you're gonna do is called the 3 whips exercise, which allows the cerebrospinal fluid to flow up and gets rid of toxins from the spine. You're just gonna twist, let your hand hit below the waist, at the waist, then at the shoulders. That's the 3 whips. And then the next final Blue Dragon Qigong exercise that we're gonna do to celebrate World Tai Chi and Qigong Day is the Qi cups. You serve the tea, bring it to the side, bring it over the head, bring it forward. So if you're looking for a way to prevent illness, stay healthy, increase peace, meditate, whatever you want to call it, Qigong is the way to go. And since that's Qigong,
we used to say in our tradition, for example, if something appears in your lifetime that you like, you see something that you like, or you hear something that you like, so something comes there into your lifetime and you like it, then we say, don't pull. Don't pull. If something appears in your lifetime that you don't like, that means that you would normally reject. There we say, don't push. And where does it come from? And in this example, it means if I start to pull it towards me. So I like it. That's why I want to keep it as good as I can. And I want to bring it even closer to me. Closer to me than it really is. Then what is going to happen is one day, when the time comes, whatever you try to pull towards you is simply going to move even away from you. At the same time, something comes and you rejected it right from the beginning. It's just a question of time until whatever you push away from you starts to move very close to you.
You want to be rich, you could be rich tomorrow. You can start the process because you can do with your true quantum computer what they had to build to do. Because they can't do it. They don't have the rhythm to get into that wave pattern. In other words, they cannot swim in the waters of noon. They don't have the subconscious capacity. Their computer isn't old enough. Your observation makes this material world the material world that you know, just by observing it, remember? So if something you wanted to do magically and you keep looking at it, observing it, talking about it, then it is not going to work. You are observing it, therefore you keep it in particle form. For it to work in the quantum world where the magic happens, it needs to be in waveforms, meaning you must stop observing it.
Look how much spiritual pressure this monk had putting down this bull right here. And not just one of them, 2 of them. And no cord, no strings attached. They're trying to tell you that his ki, his chi, his energy, his aura is so strong that it was able to hold this bull down, this cow down. And I'm telling you, yo, this world has changed. There's so many people out there now coming out there displaying their powers, showing the world that they have powers and that we all have powers. You just have to tap into your powers and remember who you are. that you are a divine being, a creator, a God, and manifest it. And there's nothing that you can't do. Like they said, no words, the bull survived, and none of the animals was hurt. All right, most importantly, none of the animals was hurt. They just held them down with their energy. They didn't harm them. They're all good and healthy. But let me know what y'all think in the comments below, and follow, like, and share for more. Peace, guys.
A debate is lower nature shit. An argument, no matter how spicy or what you call it, is an argument and an exercise in the ego, period.
Yeah.
Ain't no exception to that. Either when someone wants to hear what you have to say, they shut up and they listen. When they want to talk, that's their ego trying to express itself. That is a Jerry Springer, a Love and Hip Hop nature. That is not higher shit. That's a fact. You don't even have to be conscious to know that. When have you had an argument that you felt you didn't win, that you felt good about? Why are you emotional if you lose an argument? Why do arguments lead to fights sometimes? Huh?
It's your ego.
Right. When you're building with someone, does it lead to fights? Does it lead to a hostility? I didn't say what I want to say, son. Nigga, talk to me. Nigga, ain't give me a fair chance to talk.
It depends on the person.
Right. But all sorts of reactions. But you know it from your, come on, let's think logically.
Right.
Use your personal experience. You ain't got to say depends on the person. Think of you. What fucking argument did you have that you lost, or that you felt you lost, that you felt good about? You always want to tell your shit in an argument.
Yeah, it's all the time.
That's what it is, nigga. That's lower earthly shit.
Y'all are stuck niggas. That's why I'm talking to y'all. Y'all think y'all got something because y'all saying Hotep, Beloved, Oshun, Alafia, Sea Mars, but y'all still don't know what to do when you die. You're still scared of death. You're still not probing it. You're still not meditating deep enough. You thinking. You're not meditating because you're coming up with all the answers that you want to hear, which means you're thinking and you're picking what you want to happen. You're not dealing with it as it comes down as reality. You're not dealing with the bad and the good. I deal with the abuse in me, the wrong in me, the arrogant in me, and try to recognize where it comes from and eradicate that human flaw. You must. You are throwing away your humanity. The more you through with it, the more you know what to do with it. But the more you're intrigued, the slap is real. The slap is fake. Nigga, you still in this. And you put yourself, unfortunately, in that fucking circle or that fucking loop constantly. It's time to get off the circle of reincarnation or reincarceration. You got to know the landscape. And to know the landscape, you first start with meditation to start learning how to quiet the mind and get the mind still for as long as you can. You want to start meditating yourself to sleep with an intention, because you bring that intention in the astral world. You use the techniques in the book by Robert Frost, Astral Dynamics. You use those techniques, and what you'll find is he'll teach you exercises, just like in psychomancy. He'll teach you exercises on what to do to get in the astral world and bring your consciousness here, your logic with you as an observer. And once you start knowing the landscape and exercising and becoming conscious in that world talks more to you greater than just the intuition. It starts telling you, first you'll hear voices that speak out of the rhythm of your thinking.
So now, bringing back to the first point, what I noticed when I let myself go and just that's where you get in the Bible. You let go and let God. Well, let me tell you what that really means. So let go and let God, they're really talking about let go of all of this intellectual deep shit that you think you're doing. And let the God come out in you, God. You got the God force That God power, that ain't God because you're melanin or whatever. Because you can have a melanin and be a fucking human. And half you niggas still are. Melanin, chakras, pineals, kundalini, all the good shit, and be a fucking human. You can have a race car in your garage, but only drive it to the Quickie Mart. And that don't make you a race car driver. Until you using it on the racetrack, then you can be called yourself a race car. Until you have a motherfucking race in that car. And you got a car, but that don't mean you racing it. So you got melanin, kundalini, pineal. That don't mean you using it. The God is a mindset. And that mindset is beyond human. That's why you understand the mind of God. If you think like a human, that's what that means. If you think like a human, you won't understand the mind of God. Like half your friends don't understand you right now. You said, I try to explain, Patty, you just don't get it. They don't understand the mind of God. You have the mind of God because it's your thinking that makes you God. God is a frequency. And here's the news. That's not the end game. The God frequency is just the highest thought in this reality. They have codes for higher thoughts. Those are called chaos beings, which all forms of creation or potential creation, that's called potential energy. That energy can become anything. Creative energy is already spent energy. It's energy that already has a definition. A cat, a rose, a hat, a dog, a flea, a tick. Those are creative energies that already have a designation, either kinetic or actually spent energy. Potential energy is like electricity. It can become any appliance that you plug into. We are chaos beings. Our melanin is the substance of chaos beings that have not only a reality in here as physical and spiritual, but a reality in the ancient world. It is the primordial substance that dominates all substances. But it needs to be spiritualized with your thoughts. And you have not done that because you think like a human. You think about your job and how to win. You don't think, and you do have to do that. But you don't put that in this small category. So when you let God out, these things will start to, these minor things called your job, your mortgage, your rent, your kids, the police, taxes, court, and all the rest of that shit becomes a small thing. Because in your mind, you think it's your greatest challenge on planet Earth. It is. But your real greatest challenge is to get in touch with your divinity. So you have to lose yourself in all of these symbols, all of these deities, all of these mythologies, all of these lectures. Figure out how to fucking heal yourself with peach soda.
So Chosen, when they thought they were celebrating, right? They thought they did their big one on you, right? And they was like, you know, we really got this man, we really got this woman in this trap where everybody around him is a part of this, you know, not all of them was a part of the same little secret society thing, but all of them around you had an agenda to try to steal your energy to be able to get your money, access to your money, right? And this is what you starting to recognize, that everybody around you was literally betraying you, and you had to recognize this to pass this test and this cycle, and you had to be able to end things on a note where you didn't get violent, you didn't get extremely depressed or sad, because that's what they wanted you to be energetically drained so they can be able to get this spell to activate. And the spell was supposed to be able to stop you from reaching your full potential. You get depressed, you just stop doing your stuff so they can get you in a state where, you know, the magic affects you and you can slowly die off, or they can get money off of you based off of the energetic, you meeting the energetic criteria. You get what I'm saying? Like, because you got to think, when you accepting these people, you low-key accepting their spell work, not even realizing it. You feel me? And most people don't realize this. As chosen ones, we over here, we trying to be loving and kind to people and don't even realize they got what motives they got behind the scenes. And so this is what I say to you, even down to your, so it was your familiar units, but it's also down to your, even down to maybe your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whoever was around you. You feel what I'm saying? You thought it was safe to tell this person information, but they still, you can't trust this person. You feel what I'm saying? You thought it was safe to tell this person something, but they going back telling other people your information. And you was wondering how people was knowing about certain things that you were doing, it's because they were keeping tabs on you because they all was in on the plot to get money from you. And this is the truth, and I know it hurts, right? And you were wondering why this person was acting distant with you and why they were doing the things they were doing. It's because they had somebody that was like a parental figure, somebody that was an older figure ahead of them telling them what to do. And, you know, they fell in love with you and they wanted to try to do it a different way, but they still couldn't manage to keep that same energy throughout the whole time y'all was with each other. So, you know, they decided they couldn't take it no more. You feel me? Because they knew your energy was too intense. It's like they thought you were going to be in depression and they could pass this energy off of the depression off to you, but instead you alchemized it and you gave back whatever energy was theirs, and they started to slowly regret that. And now they just is like, well, I'm just gonna take this punishment, and they know what comes. It's the karma. You feel me? They said they just gonna take their karma and do the work. And you feel me? So you got honey traps. You got, you know, karmic twin flames and soulmates that's doing the work now because of the way you healed, right? And the way you pushed through and made it through even the most worst situation. And that was nothing. And they got nothing but admiration for it because they like, God damn, I'm right there beside him and I can't even get him to fold. And I don't even know why I could when I sit there and I know this person. I know who he is. Why do I feel like I could corrupt the chosen one or slow down the chosen one when you know he's going to push through no matter what? And I guess she had to see it for herself, and I guess that he had to see it for himself. So, you feel me? Y'all stay doing what y'all doing. I want y'all to know y'all coming out of this cycle and y'all getting to this money, and that's what's coming next is the blessing that they try to keep from y'all. And it's such a huge inheritance that, you know, they never wanted y'all to find out about this because this was going to change your whole life and your whole experience.
The eighth dimension is where karma stops repeating. You're no longer trapped inside the lesson. Instead, you're watching it from above. This is where karmic cycles dissolve. This is where ancestral patterns end. This is where timelines converge and intuition becomes precise and not emotional. This level isn't common. It's earned through endings such as grief, silence, and truth. And once you're here, you don't argue with fate. You co-create with it.
And it said, women are looking at the men differently now. They're asking, hey, can you fish? Can you hunt? Can you fight? Because it's that way now. And my son said to me when I was talking to him about it, he said, you know, the bad thing about it is these young boys with who have been feminized don't even see that this was a plan. Because I told him when I was growing up, if this happened when I was 10, 12, 13 years old, I wouldn't be as worried because every man in my neighborhood had a fucking rifle. Everyone. That's when this system was afraid of us because they knew We weren't going to be the only ones to die if you came down our street in a tank. We have been weakened, people. We have been denatured. Because if we want fish, we got to go to them to get it. If we want clean water, we have to go to them to get it. And who can tell how clean that is? If we want anything, we have to go to them to get it. We have got to change. We have got to change. And I know that you guys get upset with me when I talk to you about this, but this is on us. This is our land. The ADOS people don't want to accept that this is our land, but those of us who know that we are Aboriginal and that we are Indian, we better come together. It's not about how much money we can get for what we talk about. It's not about Cash App. Because Cash App ain't going to save us. We going to have to save us. I never thought that I would be the type of person to bear my feelings the way I'm doing it right now. I never thought I would. But what about our babies and our grandchildren? What about them? Because even if we survive this, they won't. 10 years from now, they got another plan. This ain't the only plan. I guess I'm really saying more than I planned to say, and I apologize for that. But we better take our lives into our own hands. We better start now. Even if it means just going to your neighbor next door. I told my son, I said, if this happened when I was young, I wouldn't be worried about it. Because if I got hungry, I didn't have to go to the store. I sat on my auntie's roof and ate cherries. And when we got tired of that, we ate berries. And when we got tired of that, we ate whatever they picked out of the yard. Or the bread that they made. We grew up on beans. We grew up on good food until they told us we were poor. We weren't poor. I didn't live in the ghetto. Our streets were clean. We believe everything they tell us about us. And then we turn to them to help, ask them to fix us so that we can be what they want us to be, so that we can look like what they want us to look like in their eyes. Let me tell you something. We better learn. We better get it. Another thing I said to my son, and then I'm going to get off. I'm not going to bore you with too much more of this, but I'm really concerned about the fact that we don't even know what real water tastes like. At least my children don't, and I bet yours don't either. Having foreigners on our land is a very serious issue. And let me tell you why. Some time ago, I went camping. And I was telling this white lady, I said, you know, I will never forget this time when there was water running down from the rocks. We went to that little stream, cupped our hands, and we drank the water. And she said to me, it didn't make you sick? No, it didn't. And it wasn't supposed to. You know why? Because my DNA is from this land. This landmass. So when I go to another country and I'm dealing with the DNA of that landmass, the water will make me sick. You got to understand that your DNA is in this land. You're a copper, so is this land. People, just try and get it. Do some research. Go back into your family history and start finding out where you came from. Because if you are from Africa, then you need to be on that landmass. But if you're from here, you need to work to figure out how we can get our land back. How we can come together as a people. Because if we don't, we're done for. We are. And I know that other people don't say it out loud like this, because they're scared. Well, let me tell you something. As brave as I usually am, I'm scared. I'm scared for us because we got to get it. We've got to see it. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care anything about that. It's about the bloodline. We're the same bloodline. We got to stop hating each other. We got to love each other enough to go to our next door neighbor and say, hey man, I'm your next door neighbor. We got to come together. We got to do like we used to do. We got to help each other mow our lawns. We got to start planting food in our yards. We need to get trees that bear fruit in our yard. So if you need something from me, I have it for you. Because I'm going to tell you, that's who we really are. And most of us don't even know, as Aboriginal people, we had the first World Trade Center. That's where they get it from. And it was a world trade, not a world buy. We bartered. We traded. Whatever we needed, we got from another country, and they did the same for us. And we've lost that. We've lost that care for each other and that taking care of each other. It's always about the money. What can you give me if I help you? We better get out of that, because that is not who we are as a people. So I've ranted, and forgive me for that.
Scientists studied the brainwaves of people in the Qigong state, and here's what they found. Qigong, for reference, is a Chinese system of breath control. All of the results support this view that Qigong is an extraordinary functional state. Basically, they found that there was alpha wave dominant shifting from the occipital zone to the frontal zone. This was not found in normal people. This is relevant because the frontal zone is the place where sensory processes turn into conscious processes. Color perception, hand coordination, and memory are special functions of the frontal zone. Therefore, the qualitative changes of the frontal zone functions in Qigong state certainly have special significance. It can bring about some kind of qualitative change in conscious activity or in the level of consciousness. In extraordinary functional states, can subconscious activities enter into the realm of the conscious? The frontal zone's activity with various sensory and motor regions of the outer world of the body are already known to physiology. However, the relationship between the frontal zone and the inner world of the body has been studied very little. Signals of the related internal states of the body, like hunger, thirst, joy, anger, fear, sex, etc., may be conveyed from the hypothalamus and peripheral systems through the dorsal nucleus of the thalamus to the frontal zone, and cause the consciousness to be affected by the emotional coloring conveyed. No other cortical region can have such a clear connection with the hypothalamus. Therefore, there is very good reason to suppose that the qualitative change of the frontal zone in the Qigong state mediates the connection between the frontal zone and the inner world of the body, causing the processes which originally belonged to the subconscious to enter into the realm of the conscious, and thus the frontal zone receives the signal of coloration from the internal organs. It also regulates the internal organs, exerting control over all aspects of the great system of the human body. This is what the charts looked like. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on this, and like and follow for more.
I told you, you gotta do shit in magic. And even those who worship this shit know you do shit and then you put it to the side, you forget it. You don't focus on it. So you light a candle, you don't sit there and look at the candle every day. You do it, you do what you need to do, and then you forget it. Why? They'll tell you that in magic all the time. You create a sigil, you look at it, you meditate, throw it away, burn it. Why do they tell you the shit like throw it in the sea, throw it, flush it down the toilet, burn it, rip it up when you finish in that moment? Because if you keep looking at it, you are now an observer of it, and it stays in particle form. Therefore, it stays in this reality. You're not sending the magic out. When you forget about it and don't observe it anymore, it now becomes wave patterns that you sent out. You can also pull it back through magnetism, the wave patterns. So you're saying, based upon everything you've done and all of these different realities that have set up based upon all your choices, there's a poor you, there's a rich you that exists, there's somewhere in between, and there's where you are in this reality. Your computer is a visualization program. You have to visualize how you see yourself to make a connection on that particular wave pattern to pull it back to this reality. Then all of a sudden, magic, it starts to happen. Magic is just, you a better nigga. Shit. Dane has come to my house and said, nigga, this is absolute magic. We are from humble beginnings. The projects in New York. Hand to mouth. Check to check. Grits and eggs, nigga. And the delicious living lifestyle that I have. And see, I don't talk about it in a bragging way, because I humbly teach everybody to do and get what I have and be able to access anything physically. I'll teach you. That's what my class is.
When they first die, they'll go see this light. It's called the astral light. The astral light is the astral plane. It is set up to retrieve the soul, to get it trapped back in a cycle of reincarnation. So when you go towards the light, it is the astral light, which is the astral plane, which is ruled by a group of entities called the demiurge, or the Devashanic plane is what it's called. It's ruled by the Deva spirits, the Orishas, or the Olympian spirits.
So now you always hear people with these death experience. I seen my family there.
Yeah.
I seen uncles and grandfathers saying, walk, come towards the light.
Right.
Are they helping us?
No, those are souls that's trapped. Let me give you a pyramid structure of how this thing goes.
Okay.
You got two realms. You have the Devashanic plane, which basically snatched the souls up to get them ready for a cycle of reincarnation. Now that reincarnation can be 50 years, 100 years. The older the soul, the longer it takes to reincarnate. Younger, and especially those ones that don't have a soul, because you do have those people, they can reincarnate faster. It's being ruled by a group of entities called the demiurge, the Olympian deities, the Orishas, the Devas, the shining ones, and their light is a prism. It's the astral light. And in so many words, they get you into this cycle of reincarnation, or what I would like to say, reincarceration. Doing time on planet Earth, reincarceration. This is the lowest plane. No one really needs to really be here or wants to be here that's got good sense, other than when you take on a human body. You are duped into being here, because the first thing happens, which is so bad about it, is if you came back as an adult, you would understand the game. Hey, wait a minute. I'm doing this shit over and over and over again. That's why they snatch you back into a small brain of a baby, which means that small brain is almost like a piece of oblivion. It's so dumb until it has to regain memory. And although it's regaining memory, it has certain elements of the previous life. As it gets more and more morphed into the life that it is now incarnated in, that life basically diminishes or extinguishes the life prior to it. So the brain is developed to, number one, tap into, number one, coincide with the life that it is reincarnated into, and give data and to basically notice the world that is encased in. But it's also developed to somehow suppress the previous life, which is only in the memory of the soul, which the connection of that soul is the pineal gland, the brain up under the brain.
Okay.
So in so many words, all this is a cosmic trick by a group of entities that only exist through your ignorance of your soul and your knowledge of the universe that gives them their energy. So in so many words, they exist through you. And he talked about how this great mother went to sleep. And these children in this particular case is these particular false beings. They're prisms. They don't have the power to be the gods of the universe or the gods of the omniverse. But they have the power to create an alternative world for themselves by trapping souls in those worlds. And those souls are being dumbed down based on some type of trap. That is the human brain. If you break it back down to the human physiology, it's talking about the brain. This is incarceration by a group of subordinate deities that gained a foothold on the earth and the universe or whatever, while the pristine deities went into a form of a hibernation. That light that you go to is their realm. So tricking you into that, right? Right. To be free of them is to go to the dark, which is the realm of primal sleep. When a man sleeps, he goes to his true self. The Quran says when a man sleeps, he is dead. You see, but it's a primal realm. When you're inside of this physical realm, it is so opposite this realm until you usually have fear of it, especially children.
Right. I want to ask you this now, because you mentioned this, the Orishas
Yeah.
are part of the demiurge.
Yes.
Now, a lot of these brothers walk around, they want to tap into the Orishas.
Yes.
So are you saying the Orishas are
Yes, let me give yes.
on outside?
Yeah, let me give you a brief history of that. You got Ola Dumare, who is this father, who is supposed to be the father, but he's more of a father of the astral plane. Legba, Ogun, Obatala, Shango have their hands on creating the earth. And in the concept of that, there's some pre-creation deities that are in opposition for them creating the earth. It's the same biblical story of Satan and his spawn saying, we're not going to bow down to man. You see what I'm saying? And God saying, you need to bow down to man. And you find out in actuality, this is a cosmic drama that's being played between Satan and his angels and stuff. And the reason why they didn't want to bow down to man in this particular thing is a greater story. They didn't want to become man. So they was rejecting becoming into a physical body. So bowing down was, get used to it, humble yourself, and be our slaves. But Satan just remembered, no, we not that. We gods of light. Right. But they had to get used to this particular physical body. Well, it's the same thing happened in this Orisha myth. The one you want to get is a book called, and it's a book by a guy that's dead now by the name of Marji. And in there they talk about this struggle between these gods that don't want to be in the human form, and they go to battle with Legba and these crew who created this particular earth for them to be into. And as a result, Legba and them ultimately wins. It's the same story, which makes Legba and them these demiurge type characters. They are Olympian deities. So if you want to get a better clarity, you compare this with the Titan story, or the Titans not wanting to be cast down, but Zeus strikes them with an arrow and burn them up and then use their ashes to make man. You see what I'm saying? Those Titans are pristine deities that rule the universe prior to the younger group of deities who are subordinate deities that want to create this box job wonder world for themselves by using the older material to trap them down in this thing.